So for this next episode, I stole all of my granddaughter's hairbands. Welcome to this episode of Blossom and Bourbon. Hello friends, it's great to see you. Welcome to my workroom. My name is Mark. I'm the owner here at Creative Occasions. And it's a pleasure to have you here for this kind of avant-garde design. I'm always thinking about mechanics and about new ways to do mechanics, fun, kind of interesting things that could be used for mechanics. And literally sometimes, and you know this about me, I will actually just go to the hardware store and I'll stroll through the hardware store and look at things and go, I wonder what we could do with that. So seriously, I was thinking about the color and the fun of something like hairbands and how that could potentially become a mechanic. So we're gonna see how this works out, okay? It kind of alludes to, we did an episode with electrical tape, and this is kind of a similar look with the hairbands, because it makes sort of a plaid striation pattern that's gonna run across the container, and we'll just see how this plays out. They really don't have to be a specific area. I have a couple of different sizes that I'm gonna use and incorporate with these. And so what I'm trying to do with the placement of them is to create a grid. And that grid is where we're gonna put the flowers. So you can see right here, the spaces that are created with these hairbands, that's where we're gonna be dropping the flowers down in, all right? If you do a couple going one direction and then a couple going the other direction, you kind of begin to create like a plaid. And I'm putting the wonky part where it's kind of joined and not as good up in the top, and that's where the flowers are gonna be. Now these, interestingly, because they're these little smaller, like ponytail things, they were obviously too small to go around the whole container. So what I did is I just created a chain, kind of linked them together, because I like these colors. And I'm gonna take a little piece of bind wire, gonna go around, and we're gonna link it together with the bind wire. Again, kind of up in the top where it won't be seen. There we go. So I'm gonna trim that little bit of wire off. I do like that little bit of purple in there though. This green, let's go this direction. So yeah, I'm gonna just put this here so you can see on that camera above me how that's creating that nice grid. It's nice and tight. So my thought is that the flowers are just gonna kind of rest on this grid that we've created with these bands. So I'm sorry I don't really have an answer for what was the inspiration, other than just looking for new ideas. All right, so with this kind of thinking of bright colors, we're gonna do bright colored flowers, something that's fun, like Gerbera Daisies, of course. But we gotta hydrate the flowers, so we're gonna put the water in there first. I will tell you from experience, it's important to make sure that with a container that's as shallow as this, and also as wide as this is, that you have enough water in here. You need it up to probably at least a third, if maybe not a half of the way up the side of the container, just because when you cut these stems, let me just show you how that's gonna work. When you cut these stems, you want to be sure that the flower is down in the water for drinking, okay? It's very easy, and kind of the perception is that you don't have to cut very long stems because you've got a short container, when in fact, that really is not the case. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but see how that stem is kind of curved over to the side. And what that length is going to do is it's going to allow it to get in the water and stay there and be nice and hydrated. This is kind of cool because these little ponytail things are actually 2 layers. That works kind of well to put the flower down in between those. That'll hold that really nicely, I think. That is a great point. There are some flowers that are happier when they have less water. Depth of the water on the stem will actually cause the stem to rot and deteriorate. Calla lilies are one, for example, that aren't as happy with a lot of water in a container. So with those, especially if they're in a mixed arrangement, it's really kind of tough to make sure everybody in the pool is happy, you know, because the callas, the stems will get really mushy, and that can be a kind of a downfall. So yes. All right, we're gonna do the aspidistra trick. You guys know how much I love those, right? So we're gonna do a snip, pull, snip, pull. So we now have 3 different pieces that will go into the pool with everybody else. And with this, we're just gonna kind of create this fun little loopy thing. Let's put that over here and get this guy in the water. Okay, and then pull that flower up. All right, that's just kind of another little interesting texture. Give some movement to the arrangement. It's kind of fun. We're gonna do that again, snip, pull, not pulling all the way through, snip and pull again. So we have those 3 separate sections. I think I like the flowers in this case, kind of all running down this one side and leaving these guys open. So let's pull this over so that we don't see that wire there. This actually is kind of representative of a technique that's called, it's almost like pave, but it's also sort of like terracing, where you have different layers of flowers that you're using in an arrangement. All right. Some lily grass for yet a little bit more movement and creating a little sort of interest, textural interest over the flowers. This one will start on this end, down in the pool. And we'll leave him hanging over on the end there. This would be so much fun with something like Crespidia, which is like billy balls, those little round yellow flowers. That would be so much fun tucked in there. It happens, I happen not to have any of those at the moment, but that would be so much fun in this. Okay, I think we're done. If you were gonna use this for a party or something, it would be really kind of fun to float a candle in there. I would sure use a battery powered candle and not a live flame one in case it kind of wandered under the hair bands. That could make your party really interesting, wouldn't it? There you have it, my interpretation of hair bands in a flower arrangement as a mechanic. You guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you'll remember to like and subscribe the videos. So until next time, cheers to you and flowers every day.